Probably the most celebrated holiday in the world, the modern celebration of Christmas is a product of hundreds of years of both secular and religious traditions from around the world. In this video, I will be sharing with you the origins of some familiar Christmas traditions. The tradition of decorating Christmas trees comes from Germany. Decorating evergreen trees has always been part of the German winter solstice tradition. The first Christmas trees, specifically decorated and named after the Christian holiday, appeared at the beginning of the 17th century. Norway is the birthplace of the Yule log. The ancient Norse used the Yule log in their celebration of the return of the sun at winter solstice. Yule came from a Norse word meaning wheel. The Norse believed that the sun was a great wheel of fire that rolled towards and then away from the earth. Celtic peoples have long considered mistletoe to have magic powers. It was said to have the ability to heal wounds and increase fertility. Celts hung mistletoe in their homes to bring themselves good luck and to ward off evil spirits. During holidays in the Victorian era, the English would hang sprigs of mistletoe from the ceilings and doorways. If somebody was found standing under the mistletoe, they would be kissed by somebody else in the room, a behavior not usually shown in Victorian society. Gingerbread men have indeed noble roots. Queen Elizabeth I of England commissioned her pastry chefs to prepare gingerbread men to represent foreign dignitaries and people at court. She then gave out the cookies during one of her banquets. The trend gradually took hold outside of the royal palace. The first to prepare gingerbread men in that same period were practitioners of folk medicine, who baked them for young women so that they could make future spouses fall in love with them. The basic idea being that if men ate the gingerbread man prepared especially for them, that they would fall madly in love. Tinsel first appeared in Germany in the 1600s. It was made from real silver, hammered thin, and cut into thin strips. It was originally used to decorate statues, especially religious statues, but eventually it was adopted for the Christmas trees of the rich. Tinsel was brought to North America by German immigrants and popularized by Queen Victoria and her family's use of it in 1842. Turn-of-the-century tinsel was made of aluminum and copper. Though much cheaper, there were drawbacks. Aluminum was highly flammable, and later copper was needed for the war effort. For a while, tinsel disappeared. It was revived in the mid-20th century. This time it was made of lead, which at the time was thought to be safe, but now we know was not. Modern tinsel is made of plastic, although some people use a reusable form made of plated steel or stable aluminum. The most popular origin story for candy canes is that in the mid-1600s, a choir master commissioned a candy maker to create candy to quiet the children in the choir during service. The candy maker took the treat called pulled sugar and added a hook. However, there's actually little evidence for this popular origin story. The modern candy cane appeared in 1847, made by a German-Swedish immigrant in Ohio. However, candy canes didn't become truly popular until the early to mid-1900s, when production was automated. Before this point, candy makers had to make them by hand, and the hooks often snapped before they could be packaged and sold. Candy canes were originally white. The red stripes, inspired by a barber's pole, were added later by an unknown innovator. We know this because candy canes appeared on Christmas cards, but stripes didn't turn up until the 1900s. Christmas crackers were likely invented by London candy maker Tom Smith. And in the 1840s, he began selling bonbons inspired by treats he saw in France. These were sugared almonds in a twist of paper, but Smith also added a little love poem. Though the bonbons were popular, Smith was inspired by the crackling log of a fire to make a more dramatic treat. In the late 1840s, Smith patented and then later refined a cracker device. A tube was filled with toys, jokes, and treats, and 2 strips of paper that were layered together, and then when rubbed together, By pulling the tube apart, the strips generated a small explosion, the iconic snap of a Christmas cracker. Christmas crackers evolved and were eventually put out by other companies. Christmas lights started out as candles which were attached to Christmas trees to illuminate the ornaments. The use of electric lighting to decorate Christmas trees was introduced in 1882 by American Edward Johnson. The idea didn't catch on as many Americans didn't entirely trust electricity and the bulbs were too expensive to be practical. That changed in the 1920s when General Electric's pre-assembled lights became more accessible and cheaper. Christmas lights have been a popular tradition ever since. It was Canadians who made ugly Christmas sweaters an iconic Christmas tradition. According to the Ugly Christmas Sweater Party Book, the sweaters became a party trend in Vancouver in 2001, and the trend is seemingly here to stay. Apparently, the ugly sweater industry is now a multi-million-dollar business. I hope you've enjoyed learning more about the origins of Christmas traditions. If you're in the Lac-La-Biche region in December, come and see the Christmas at the Inn exhibit at the Lac-La-Biche Museum located at 9910 101 Ave, Lac-La-Biche.
Season's greetings from all of us here at the Lac-La-Biche Museum. Have a happy holidays. We'll see you in the new year.